다시 산토스 7번 방. 자네가 산토스군.
Mr. Pinchetti, a pleasure to meet you. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald.
I've already told him everything I know. I'm only a witness, sir. Everything's in my report.
And I've read it. You forgot to mention that you hold the keys to the room where Fabio was found. I need only to find if the crime was intentional.
But I need to return to my duties.
I doubt the house will fall without you, Mr. Pinchetti. Just be still for a few seconds.
건성 혹은 알레르기. 아까 뭐 바람 불면 날아갈 것 같다더니 한 번 이상 염색했음. 여러 번 수선했다. 많이 가난하신가 봐요. 어머! 피를 밟았다? 무슨 일이야? 재정적인 어려움을 겪고 있다? 아니면 지독한 구두쇠? 일단 뭐 엄청난 어려움을 겪고 있는 게 아닐까. 염색도 했다면은 아니지. 구두쇠일 수도 있어. 구두쇠로 하겠습니다.
Is your greedy nature responsible for the lack of taste and attention to your appearance? The cheap makeup, shabby and dyed clothes? How do you explain those, Majordomo?
The means to practice my profession are limited. I'm sorry you noticed it, sir.
The parties overshadowed your state. You are lucky Kurt Manchios's attention was concentrated elsewhere. In a decent household, you would be asked to leave for far less.
Yes, his attention was undoubtedly concentrated on something other than my appearance.
But one detail stands out on your dirty rags and shoes. The drops of blood.
Oh, that. I don't know anything about it.
수상한데?
Did you know Fabio?
Not personally. He was a frequent guest, and cleaning the mess after his performances was tedious. Mr. Manchios always had a role for him, and mainly the leading one. The parties were always Fabio-centric.
And Batista? Was she as popular as her partner?
Don't tell her I said this, but I do not think so. Mr. Manchios hired her only because Fabio refused to work without her. Mr. Manchios used to see her as a worker. She was tasked with entertaining the guests, unlike Fabio, who could pick and choose.
이거 다야? 증거물 한번 보겠습니다. 커트만치오스의 유언장과 쪽지. 산토스의 꿈 많은 곰뱅이. 집사장 산토스 핀체티에게는 마음 따뜻한 고용주 커트만치오스를 항상 기억할 수 있도록 코스형 왁스 한 단지와 소금 램프를 준다. 뭐야, 이게 유언장이야?
I recognize the key from the altar room among these.
열쇠가 있군요.
Mr. Manchios says that you begged him to be included in the heritage. Isn't that a little extreme, even for a majordomo?
He's not only my employer, he's my uncle. And I'm his next of kin. The only one. Mr. Manchios flatly refuses to pay a family member. All I have to do is repay his so-called love, cleaning up the filth after perverts and decadents. He's imprisoned me. The best I can hope for is a new broom. That's why I wanted to have my part of the inheritance.
Is it that bad? You have a roof above your head, a salary, and the status of a majordomo.
For God's sake. I'm forced to dye and stitch my threadbare
구두쇠가
clothes, and the
아니라
holes in my shoes are
어려움이
painful.
있었구나.
I'm ashamed every time a guest looks at me closely.
Why do you think your uncle treats you this way?
My mother, my uncle's sister, had me illegitimately. She died and I was given the surname of one of the maids.
But you are entitled to some of the money that belongs to your family.
He thinks not. I was not responsible for my mother's death. I work hard, and he pays me nothing. I feed on the leftovers. While he wastes our estate's property on decadent parties, he paid Fabio handsomely
살의
and showered
공기가
him
이쪽이 더
expensive gifts
높은데?
for their disgusting relationship.
엄청 높은데 여기가 확실히 이해도 가긴 가고. 일단 알겠습니다, 산토스 씨. 좀 쉬고 계십시오. 이건 증거물 더 봐야 돼. 증거표 62 다시 60 증거물 보관소가 어디야?
This area is restricted.
출입 제한 구역.
Did you hear Basilio
뭐야?
Costello is in jail? A dead body was found in his shop.
전시실의 시체? 피해 복수? 금고에서 죽은? 매트리스 아래? 부인이 엄청난 충격을 받고 무죄를 주장. 금고에서 죽은 무죄 주장.
Did you hear?
언론 투문 이거 아니었고 무죄. 피해 복수 아니었고 부인이 엄청난 이거 아니었고 금고에서 죽은. 큰일 날 뻔했네. 니콜로 데티를 한 남성이 바실리오의 가게 금고 안에서 죽은 채로 발견되었다. 바실리오는 결백하다고 주장하지만 증거는 그에게 불리한 상황이다. 그는 경찰서 유치장에 구금되어 있다.
Let's pretend to be cops.
Okay,
Eh? We could just
서브가 또
stand around and
생겼어.
look confused.
Good day. Your ticket, please, if you want me to help you.
여기가 그거네. 증거표 어디지? 여기다.
I'd like to check the evidence from this case.
And who are you?
Oswald sent me. I'm a consulting detective.
His partner, then? Let me see. Ah, a ritual murder. What a bunch of degenerates. Wait a second. I'll bring it to the table.
이거군요. 이게 그 여자 거겠지?
That's not for bedtime reading. This ex libris belongs to Manchios Library.
만치오스의 서재에서 사랑의 힘, 피와 만드레이크. 원하는 대상이 사망한 지 얼마 안 된 몸을 나체로 준비한다. 화성과 금성의 문양을 그려 당신이 가진 힘을 증폭하고 어쩌고 한다. 황금 단검으로 그의 심장을 찔러 당신을 사랑하지 않는 피를 제거한다.
The book describes a ritual similar to the one performed in the altar.
파비오가 이렇게 죽었는데?
A handcrafted charm that contains hair and nail clippings. Her key to the altar room.
와, 의심이 가는데 이렇게 하면 또?
All the keys of the mansion on one golden ring.
그치, 책을 보고 실행한 거일 수도?
It's a miracle this ruby hasn't tempted anyone. A heavily perfumed handkerchief with the initials KM in the corner.
파비오가 보낸 편지. 머리가 좀 이상하십니까? 어쩌고? 뭐야? 마티스타가 보낸... 아니구나. 파비오가 보낸 거지? 전 떠날 겁니다. 마티스타는 계속 남아있을 거예요. 파비오가.
Not the time for privacy. Werner's personal sketchbook.
이건 뭐 약이야?
An emergency kit for boredom. Thank you, officer.
일단 마티스타가 갑자기 좀 제일 의심되네. 아까 마티스타가 되게 좀 자기는 그냥 몸뚱이일 뿐이다. 이 몸은 그냥 껍데기다. 뭐 이렇게 했었거든요. 아, 이거 어렵구만. 핀체티 아니면 마티스타야. 둘 중에 하나겠다. 일단 이거에 대해서 얘기 좀
So the
하고.
police found a letter from Fabio in your pocket.
I cannot tell if it was truly in my pocket at all. Perhaps it was placed there later.
Well, that is one hypothesis. If it were true, then how did it get there?
No clue. But this night has been rather eccentric. Such a detail could have easily eluded me.
Indeed. Do you recall reading it?
I can't remember that either. But I tend to respect privacy. Reading others' personal notes is not one of my perversities.
허허. 이게 보겔한테 준 게 아닐 수도 있다라는 거구나. 일단 마티스타가 써져 있는 걸 보면 만치티오 아저씨 이름 뭐더라? 만치오스한테 쓴 걸 수도 있겠네. 제가 선택한 사람과 함께 있고 이야기를 나누고 어쩌고 싶다. 만치오스였나? 뭐였지? 얘랑 한번 대화를 해보자.
I've read this letter from Fabio. It had no addressee, but it was found in Mr. Vogel's pocket.
Werner? Strange. I didn't think the two of them corresponded.
I'm sure there is some explanation. Would you care to read it?
Call me superstitious, but I don't care to read a letter from a dead man.
안 읽어본다고?
Do you recognize this book? Could Matista have borrowed it from your library?
She didn't ask me. How ungrateful.
The things described in the book were inspiration for the rituals you performed?
Do you really believe that blood, symbols, and incantations can resurrect the dead? They are
이
just eerie
사람은
tales with a
믿진
mix of
않네.
occultism and voodoo. My rituals are a stage
그냥 연극일
to
뿐이다.
show some of the forbidden pleasures. I've no idea about that.
I've read the
유언장에
letter
대해서?
about your will. A harsh method of ridiculing Santos. I doubt he will use mustache wax when he wears no mustache to begin with.
Where did you get it? Is the slug here? Tell him I shouldn't have to provide for him. He's a grown man who shouldn't sit on his uncle's neck. He conceives himself as my only heir.
And who is he to you?
He's a leech on my aging body. He has only added problems to my life since the death of his mother.
I fail to see why you made him your major domo.
He needed to know his place, so I taught him.
그렇군요. 여자한테도 한번 물어볼까? 아이씨, 뭐 이렇게
This
많아.
book, The
일단 책
Power of
먼저.
Love, Blood and Mandrake, what do you hope to achieve?
To learn more about the invisible strengths that
봐봐, 얘는
govern us.
오컬트를 믿어.
Occultism is real. The master who fell that night when Fabio and I escaped, I made him fall.
얘는
I cast a
진지해.
spell on him and it worked.
Or was it a coincidence?
The universe is rarely so lazy.
If you say so.
얘는 수상합니다. 편지.
This is the letter the police found in Mr. Vogel's pocket. Fabio wrote it. Do you know anything about it?
I don't. Although I can feel Fabio's energy. It's there, but
와,
it
미친년
refuses to
같아.
let me analyze it.
Do you practice occult rituals?
For protection? For fortune? To wash away the ugliness of
눈도
the world?
무서워.
Sometimes to survive. I have the gift, and I'm learning to use it better.
Did you use your gift on Fabio?
I only used white magic. Love charms lately. Fabio became so distant. I just wanted him to be with me. But I
사랑의
suppose I'm not
주문.
as skilled as I thought.
사랑의 주문이 아까 이거 아닌가? 당신을 사랑하지 않는 피를 제거한 다음 부활을 기다리면서 주문을 외운다. 이게 사랑의 주문 아니야? 뭐가 많이 생겼는데 오컬트를 믿었다. 사랑의 힘. 바티스타는 파비오에게 의식을 행했을 수도 있다. 만약 이게 되면은 손님 때문에 생긴 멍이 아니라 파비오 때문에 생긴 멍일 수도 있어. 그러니까 사랑하지 않은 피를 제거하고 사랑하는 피만 남겼다. 그러고 부활을 한다. 이런 느낌인 것 같은데. 커트 만치오스는 파비오를 좋아했다. 이게 안 돼? 이렇게도 아닌가? 편지는 만치오스에게 보낸 걸 수도 있다. 사건집이 생겼습니다. 이걸로 다시 한번 대화를.
There is undeniable evidence that you were the original recipient of this letter.
What are you talking about? Is it addressed to me?
Your protege wanted a fresh start, it seems. This is sufficient to charge you.
Me? Hurt my star? Are you insane that you would accuse me of such a thing?
He did not consider himself as yours. Since you deny everything, let's move on. Do you have any idea as to how the letter could have ended up in Mr. Vogel's pocket?
You were the detective. Perhaps he took it from Fabio. Werner was a little high.
이걸 다시 보겔한테 물어볼까?
I have reason to believe that the intended recipient of the incriminating letter may have been Kurt Manchios.
Well, that makes sense. Too bad I can't remember how I came to possess it. Though I did spend quite some time with Mr. Manchios during the party.
Unfortunately, even with an answer, that may still not be enough to clear you with the police. But fear not, I will persevere.
I hope your attempt to put things straight will make up for...
You being on a bender?
touché.
편지를 또 누구한테 대화를 해야 되지? 나 얘한테 얘기해볼까?
Please let me out.
대화할 게 없고.
I've nothing to say.
이거다.
Could Fabio have written this letter to Kurt Manchios?
Oh. That could be. I never thought Mr. Manchios could make Fabio that angry, though.
What do you mean?
Well, Fabio wanted to disassociate from Mr.
사버리고
Manchios.
싶어 했다.
Clients who are in love are both a blessing and a curse.
But Fabio was here tonight.
Money. In our line of work, we can't afford to turn down clients who pay as well as Kurt Manchios.
Was Fabio afraid of Mr. Manchios?
Not at all. The old toad wouldn't dare to do more than sweet talk and touching. Talk can be forgotten, and touching washed away.
좋아요. 이 편지에 대해 뭔가 얽힌 게 많네. 파비오는 만치오스와의 관계를 끊어내고 있었다. 사랑을 산산조각냈다. 근데 만치오스는 안 죽였을 것 같아. 이미 내 마음속에 범인은 정해져 있는 건가? 산토스의 헛수고. 그의 노력은 보상받지 못했다. 보겔과 만치오스 둘 중 하나는 거짓말을 하고 있다. 그러니까 이 편지에 대해 똑바로 얘기하세요.
I can't wrap my
둘 다
head around
잡혀
such a
들어가고 싶어?
tragedy at my party.
The air here is rather...
일단 대화는 끝난 듯. 고겔은 잔뜩 취해서 편지를 가져갔다. 약물에 취한 탓에. 아니면 만치오스가 몰래 편지를 넣어놨다. 이건 약물이 일단 좀 강한 것 같아. 뭐야, 벌써 뭐가 나왔어? 마티스타가 살인범이다? 일단 잠깐만. 아직은 모르겠다. 산토스일 수도 있어. 피를 우연히 밟았다? 피가 튄 흔적을 놓쳤다. 아니면 우연히 밟았다. 근데 뭐가 없는데 지금? 의식 도중에 살해당했다. 의식은 위장이었다. 진짜 이게 끝인가?
Refreshing. I'd even recommend that some of my friends visit the place.
이
Please let me.
편지에 대해서
This letter proves nothing.
한번
Fabio wrote
얘기해볼까요?
it to Mr. Manchios. It's time to free Mr. Vogel.
Do you really think I'm that naive? I need
증거를
proof, not
갖고 와.
words from his friend.
Very well. Mr. Pinchetti told me that Mr. Manchios was lavishing Fabio with expensive and eccentric gifts. The letter mentions rich rewards and attempts to buy Fabio with them. It was written to Mr. Manchios. Who
이건
else
진짜
was
저
showering
아니야,
Fabio
저?
with luxuries to buy him? It doesn't fit
몰라,
Mr. Vogel's
저.
character.
Look here. We had a deal. Give me the murderer and then take your friend with you. I won't budge otherwise.
Well, fine, but you're just wasting time.
Continue our investigation.
또 뭐 계속
The
대화할
papers.
건 없나?
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
기록 보관소 쓸 일은 없는 것 같고. 일단 조사는 끝났네요. 이제 뭐 없네? 조사는 끝났어. 이제 우리가 정하기만 하면 돼. 일단 마티에스타가 난 제일 의심이 가긴 하다. 하나 의식대로 죽었으니까 가보자. 짓밟힌 영혼. 파비오가 언제나 곁에 머무르기를 원했다. 정신병원에서 치료를 받고 기회가 주어져야 한다. 아니면 살인범. 반드시 책임을 져야 한다. 그녀에게 사형 선고를 내릴 것이다. 살인 선고 내려야지. 어디를 정신병원에 들어가려고. 됐습니다. 범인은
Continue our investigation
찾았습니다.
while I look for the papers.
마티스타한테 가자. 방이 당신이죠.
Batista, you killed Fabio during the ritual.
What? No. I could never.
아니야? 잠깐만. 의식을 치렀잖아요.
You knocked out Fabio with a bottle. You locked the door and placed him on the altar. You cast spells
배에다가
and pushed a
막
blade between his
막 뭐
ribs.
그려놓고.
The blood from his wound was used to draw symbols across his body and the room itself. You wanted to use your gift to resurrect
그래.
him, but he failed to wake up. So you cleaned yourself up and left the room, realizing the full scale of what you'd done.
That's just wrong. I didn't do it. You didn't see what happened.
Then tell me, what did happen?
I don't know. I wasn't there. You weren't either.
파비오를 다시 찾으려고 했잖아요.
Fabio was a rising star. Cordona already knew of him, and you were not as popular.
근데
Your
맞아,
duo was
아까
coming to an end.
편지에서도
He would have left you, and you were
마티우스타는
afraid of
놔두고
that.
자긴
Since
떠난다고
you
했어.
believe in your gift,
버리고
you
간다고.
thought you could revive him after death. And that time, he would have stayed with you.
That is not true. I was afraid of him leaving me, but I would never have hurt him.
진짜 아닌가?
You were there when Fabio was
곤란한데,
killed. He fought for
그러면?
his life and inflicted those bruises on your body, but you knocked him out eventually.
I was with the guests all the time. Manchios ordered me.
당신은 치료를 받아야 합니다.
I can see that life hasn't been kind to you.
사형 말고 일단
Since
치료받게
childhood, you
할까?
have been used
일단
and
치료
abused.
받으세요.
The guests at the Manchios mansion are not that different. And even if you think
죽이진
you are
않을게.
in control, such a life takes a heavy toll regardless. The only good thing you had in your life was Fabio. You were so frightened of losing him that you killed him. I believe your only chance for a normal life is to receive medical help.
범인이 아니었어도
Psychiatrists will
봐줘.
help.
Others have always decided what my life should be. And you're no different, Mr. Holmes.
That is your only option, Matista. I'm afraid you can't choose.
자꾸 아니라 하니까 뭔가 잘못된 것 같아. 가볼까? 근데 마티스타가 아니면 누구지? 이상한데 저렇게 의식에 대해서 아는 사람은 마티스타밖에 없는데?
It was Matista, Fabio's friend. All the evidence points to her. It is sadly the result of her traumatic past. She requires medical help. There can be no good in executing a person who has such an illness.
She doesn't look sick to me.
That's why the professionals should handle it.
I suppose you're right. It's still good enough for my promotion. As for my part, not everything was in place. Perhaps some documents were transferred somewhere else, but I couldn't find a trace of them. Then I remembered. The discarded document drawers where we put the lost papers or the badly labelled ones. Including the crime scene report of Violet Holmes's case. Everything I've found is on the desk here. Take it.
Your persistence has saved me.
Yeah, well, we had a deal after all.
찜찜하네.
Your friend is free then. You can leave.
Good luck, Constable.
일단 40원 받았어. 좀 많이 받지 않았나? 범인이 맞았던 걸까? 보관소 탁자위.
Oh, you did it, Sherlock. The case is closed and all rewards belong to the winner. Bravo.
It is merely the triumph of the truth.
Is it? No
코끼리
compromises?
때도
No
40원
lies?
받았어요?
You're happy with
그냥
your
원래
decisions?
주는 돈인가? 어쩔 수 없다.
It was the best
받아들일 수
decision I
있는
could obtain.
결과.
The truth must be told in the way it is most acceptable.
You're making progress, Sherlock. I was right to believe in you. By the way, did you get that precious information about your mother? Oh, not that you must.
Yes, I did.
Forgive my intrusion in such a personal matter. I simply worry I'm failing to be of much help to you.
Actually, you were. For some reason, all the archives on the case had disappeared. This was a rare opportunity to obtain the impossible.
Outrageous. Perhaps someone found the truth unpleasant. Society usually rejects those who speak with too much honesty, doesn't it?
A comfortable lie is often preferred to an uncomfortable truth. Still, I believe that the latter should prevail, and I cannot remain silent.
That's quixotism at its best. Your mere truth cannot defeat
둘이 너무
institutions, systems, and power.
대화가
Etiquette,
쉽지
religion,
않아.
marriage, they're all lies told to preserve connections, love, and sanity. And it's all corruptible.
Lies destroy human dignity. How could you make a free
자기들만의
decision without any
대화야.
knowledge of the truth?
Are we really free to decide anything in this world, Sherlock?
설교는 됐습니다.
I get enough obnoxious pontification from my
그만하십시오.
brother, so please
후원서
spare me
님.
your lecture.
Forgive my love for moral philosophy. I know I tend to ramble. You're a walking contradiction, Sherlock. You refuse to lie to others, but constantly lie to yourself. How long until the train comes off the track? I cannot look away, but perhaps I should take a few steps back. You're an accident waiting to happen, dear. Until then, I shall bid you adieu.
아, 보기야 자꾸 나와서 나 괴롭혀.
I'm busy. You've already used up your quota of me helping you.
아? 뭐야, 경찰 기록 보관소 탁자에 올라갔다면서. 그게 설마 여긴가? 여기? 아닌데? 아, 여기? 뭐야, 엄마 얘기 여기 있다. 정원에 누워있는 것을 발견했다. 외관 검사 결과 완전히 젖은 상태의 목에는 수직으로 난 5cm 길이의 깊은 절개 자국이 있었음. 뭐? 질식. 검시관의 확인을 기다리고 있음. 어? 어떻게 죽은 거야?
The garden. There's a garden behind our manor. How could I forget? That's where it all happened, where it all went wrong.
모든 일이 거기서
Sherry,
일어났다고?
it looks like you've almost found what you wanted.
이제 끝나가나? 자, 옷 좀 갈아입고 집으로 한번 가봅시다. 아, 잠깐만. 나 신문 사야 돼. 그래서 어떻게 된겨? 신문. 독수리의 공격. 아, 이거는 마크 리들리 서버인데? 서버도 신문으로 파네? 오. 오케이. 두 개 다 사고 신문을 한번 보겠습니다. 결과. 파비오. 당신은 왜 파비오인가요? 퇴폐 파티를 적발하고 호르돈의 가장 인기 많은 미인 파비오의 시신을 발견했다. 경찰은 파비오가 연인에게 살해됐음을 밝혀냈다. 한 소식통은 망상에 빠진 여성 마티스타가 연인에 대한 헌신을 잘못된 방식으로 표현해 결국 연인을 살해하고 만 사건이라고 전했다. 그녀를 기소하지 않고 정신과 치료를 위해 보호시설에 입소했다고 했다. 아, 뭐 이렇게만 끝났네. 그냥 정신병원에 들어갔다. 독수리의 공격. 이것도 봐야지. 아서 리들리 장군의 아들 마크 리들리의 갑작스러운 죽음은 코르도나를 뒤흔들었다. 어쩌고. 이거는 그냥 뭐 그냥 뭐 끝났네. 아이, 결과가 시원하지가 않아. 개운하지가 않아. 그래서 맞아, 아니야? 궁금해 죽겠어. 정원이 어디죠? 여기든가?
Sherry, please listen to me. Sherry,
들어가지
John,
말라고?
I always listen to you.
you don't have to do this. You don't have to go through. I don't know what is beyond this door, but I can feel it. Buzzing, angry, like a fly at the window.
I know. I can sense it too.
You locked away this memory for a reason. There is only pain here.
Pain. And truth.
You do not need to suffer either. There is so much more we can do on Cordona. So many others we can help.
그치, 모르는 게
There is
약이다라는
no
말이
coming
있지.
back from this.
2월 끝내야만 해.
John, my animum, my brother, there is nothing more important in this moment than this truth. I know you fear for me, but my path was set long ago. I can no more step off it than I can ask the avalanche to roll back uphill.
Just... please be careful, Sherry. I love you.
Quite. Come on. We'll go together. Why didn't I remember we had
되게
such a big garden?
넓다.
Maybe you forgot it for your own good. That's the descendant of a tree your father planted in London, correct?
Indeed, we planted the sprout here, and for a while it grew happily. Alas, it seems without us here to care for it, it didn't survive.
여기선 뛸 수도 없어. 넓은 정원인데 말이야.
Ah, yes. The statue of Merope. My mother was trying to restore it. Pity she never had the opportunity to finish.
엄마가 젖어 있었다고 했으니까 여긴가 보다.
Is that the raft we made together, John?
Looks more like a pile of
여기서
rotten planks
빠졌었나?
now.
저 뭐 있다. 피아노. 피아노를 치고 있는 엄마? 뭐야. 어디로 가야 돼? 엄마? 나 무서워. 그러지 마. 엄마 어딨어? 뭐 어딨어? 넓어서 찾기가 힘들어, 엄마. 엄마가 보이는 사람.
That's from Mother's favorite tea set. What is it doing in here?
엄마 방이다.
Come here, Sherry. Hurry.
왜? 차? 약이야 이거?
These must help calm her down.
엄마를 진정시킬 수 있겠어. 오, 존!
What are you thinking about? Is everything all right? What are you thinking about? Is everything all right?
존 상태가 이상해. 어디 가야 돼? 일단 좀 더 돌아다녀 보겠습니다. 뭐야? 엄마! 무서웠잖아 순간.
Don't go, Mother. Wait.
아씨, 무서워.
I remember this artifact from Mother's collection. Mother's work journal. I liked poring over the detailed pages and reading about my parents' collection.
무서워. 아, 여기구나.
Here it is. We'll just borrow it for a while.
Did you hear that? Someone's coming.
형이랑 의사랑 싸울 때.
You call this progress? Charlotte, amateur. I'm not letting you anywhere near my mother again.
Any result is progress, even if it is a worsening of her condition. It informs my...
No. I have made my decision. She must be sent to a legitimate medical facility. I will not let her hurt Sherlock.
What? Master Holmes, you do not understand.
That will be all. I expect you to have left the house by week's end.
이게 베이비의 시선으로 보니까 무섭다.
Sherry, say something. Can you hear me? You're
야,
scaring
나도
me.
무서워.
Sherry, come here, darling.
엄마.
I'm waiting for you.
Coming, Mother. This was for my mother, wasn't it? I remember how we came to the garden for a breath of fresh air.
어머. 엄마
Take me to my
재밌어요?
flowers, Sherry. They must already be in bloom.
As you wish, Mum. I bet you missed the fresh air, didn't you?
Terribly. The sun is far brighter than I remember. But I like it.
We can walk each day from now on, if you want.
That would be wonderful. Just look at them.
어.
The stars of the earth. Even the sky must be jealous of their beauty.
Indeed. Mother, would you like to go around the water?
That would be perfect. I always wanted such a nice pond in London. It looks so peaceful.
Mycroft knew you would like it.
무서워.
We should put some fish in it, don't you think?
How about some carp?
That's a nice idea.
엄마랑 사이가 엄청 좋은데?
Let's visit your father's tree. It grows so fast, just like you.
We could even build a tree house in it.
Yes, Sherry.
아, 쉐리가 엄마가 쓰던 애칭이구나.
Speaking of your father, could you call him out, please?
Mom! He's... I'm sorry. He passed away. He's gone.
No, he's not.
I'm telling the truth. Did you forget again?
No! Don't you dare say such things!
Aya!
You are a liar like all the others!
Mother!
Don't call me that!
Mama!
No! Mom, it hurts!
My son would never lie!
Mom, stop!
Who are you? Reveal yourself!
Please stop! It's me, Sherlock!
You are not my Sherry! Get me my stuff back or I'll kill you!
와. 이래서 물 공포증이 생겼구나. 어머. 무서워. 나를 공격했다. 아, 이건 아니네. 어머니는 익사했다. 아니면 기관 절개술을 시도한 흔적이다. 어머니가 물에 빠졌다면 이걸 할 이유가 없다. 익사하지 않았다. 일단 익사하지 않았다. 근처에 의사가 있었으니까. 진정제가 들어있는 차를 마셨다. 우리가 차를 갖고 왔다. 부작용 위험. 치료를 할 때마다 부작용이 생길 위험이 있었다. 아니면 내성 증가. 자주 복용하셨기 때문에 몸에 내성이 있었을 것이다. 이러면 익사하지 않았다가 안 맞는구나. 부작용. 알레르기 반응. 이거 뒤로 가기가 안 돼. 무조건 이거 해야 되나봐. 의심스러운 정신과 의사. 마이크로프트는 그를 신뢰하지 않았다. 정신질환. 내 정신과 이성에 영향을 줘서 상상친구 존이 생겼다. 마이크로프트는 릭터 박사를 비난했다. 그가 어머니를 죽였다고 비난했다. 어머니가 날 죽이려 했다. 존이 범인이다가 뭐야? 존과 나의 책임이다? 아, 진정제. 나는 모르고 어머니를 죽였다. 나를 고치려면 존을 없애야 한다. 마이크로프트는 나를 보호하려 진실을 감췄다. 근데 어차피 존이 나잖아. 또 다른 나. 내 정신을 신뢰할 수 없는 거지. 나를 고치려면 이제 존을 없애야 돼. 상상 친구를 없애야 되지. 어머. 내 탓이지 뭐. 나다. 이것이 최종 결론입니다. 아, 이거 엔딩이야?
Sherlock. Sherlock. Can you hear me?
정신병이
wake
있는
up.
상태지, 그죠? 조언이 있으니까.
Get off me.
Sherry,
You knew, and more than that, you hid it from me.
you couldn't bear the truth, Sherlock, so I shouldered it for you. I took your pain, your horror.
I killed my own mother, John. It is unforgivable.
It was an accident, Sherlock. She was mad, abusive. You were a child, simply trying to help.
How could she? You were a lie, John. A fiction. A crutch.
No, I was a friend. Sherlock, please.
Sherlock,
형?
What?
are you okay?
I don't know.
I told you not to come, Sherlock. Where is he?
Who?
Your friend, John.
He's beside you.
Was all this worth it? Is he worth it?
Why is he here?
Oh.
I think, in his own way, he was
No.
trying to protect me. A truth I couldn't bear. But now I must face it. There is only one thing to be done.
What are you talking
전
about?
사라졌어,
To
근데.
expect adherence to the principles of truth and justice, but to fail to hold oneself likewise accountable, it would be hypocrisy. My mother died by my hand. I must turn myself into the authorities and face the consequences of my actions.
The consequences of your actions? You were a child. She did this to you, not you unto
그래,
her.
형 말이
You are
맞지.
throwing your life away in an act of moralistic vanity. Think of all you could accomplish for our nation.
This is where we differ, Mycroft. To you, the ends justify the means. To me, the means have decided the end. The truth is the truth.
Fine, Sherlock. Walk yourself into the police station and pray those men you oft embarrassed hold no grudges. If you're lucky, they'll simply exile you. If not, I'll see you in 20 years.
아, 이거 뭐 자수하게? 뭐 얘기하려고? 조언 아직 있구나.
Are you going to berate me too? Try and talk me out of it? As I told my brother, if I cannot demonstrate the character I chastise others for lacking.
Sherry, I think this is something you will have to do yourself.
Myself? How do you mean?
All I ever did, all I ever wanted, was to protect you from what happened. And now you tell me I was wrong to try, that it was ego or hypocrisy to show a young boy kindness. But it was just empathy, creativity, and love for one's self. So please, please, Sherlock, don't do it.
Why can none of you see it? The truth is the truth. A murder is a murder. Tell me, John, why?
Because you're breaking my heart. I know you've decided. I know. I just wish you hadn't.
I'm sorry, John. All these years we spent together, all the time I took for granted.
떠나지 마, 내 상상 친구.
You'll always be a part of me.
No, Sherry. That's the point. I don't think I will.
사라졌다. 근데 확실히 정신적 충격이 클만하다. 어릴 때 내가 엄마를 죽인 거라니.
Why are you here?
Closure, I suppose. And to help a friend.
You and I are not friends. In a race between the thawing of the ice caps and our friendship, I would buy a boat.
Ha! Is that right?
I can see it now. I know what you did.
What did I do?
You needled me. From the moment we met, you were searching for weakness. You pushed me to pursue the truth about my mother. You questioned everything I did, everything I believed, to break me. To blur truth and fiction, reality, morality. A saboteur in silk. Was it vengeance, Vernon?
아,
Or do you prefer Klaus?
의사 동생.
You are Klaus Richter, Otto's younger brother. Do you hold me responsible for his end?
Ha! There was no love lost between me and my brother. I am sure you can relate. Otto was merely the gravity that pulled me into your orbit. Or you into mine. Once I met you, I could not keep away.
Why? What reason do you have for all this?
To help you.
You're lying.
To show you that you were wrong.
More lies. I know you now, Werner. Try again.
To see what had happened. Or is that yet another untruth? Does it matter? Take your pick. Who cares? You're my masterpiece. I turned Sisyphus into Ozymandias. You could not see the futility of your quest until I helped you to let go of the rock. And now, nothing beside remains.
I remain. Despite you and to spite you.
It is a matter of will and power now. Will you overcome this, or shall you decay? Oh, on that note, I brought you something.
I want nothing more from you.
When one wants for nothing, Sherlock, the best thing to get them is something personal. So, here you are. Now, please excuse me, but the gallery calls. I'm already conceiving my next project.
뭐야?
You really are beautiful.
나야? 혼자가 된 미쳐버린다.
I was prepared to take responsibility for my actions, but again my brother conspired against me. A little diplomatic pressure and the trial was dismissed. Instead, I was exiled from Cordona.
추방당했대.
Freedom never tasted so bitter. Another perversion of justice at Mycroft's hand. With no means, no home, and no purpose, I returned to London. I enrolled at Cambridge University, but few lectures held my interest. I prefer to spend time alone at the hospital laboratory, pursuing truths in chemical form. No one there questions my choices. I have begun to attract a desperate clientele, men that skulk after me, pleading for answers to their simple mysteries. At first, the distraction was unwelcome. Now, I find myself craving it, lest my mind drift back to the island, to Mother, to John. What was her life worth? How many adulterers and petty thieves will it take to make it right? Can anything?
미친놈인가?
I found it! I found it! I found it!
마네킹인 줄 알았는데 시체네.
What is that?
셜록인 것 같은데?
How far, bruises may be produced after death. How are you?
아니야?
You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive.
How on earth did you know that?
Never mind. The question now is about bruising. No doubt you see the significance of this discovery of mine.
It is
interesting, no doubt, but practically...
Why, it is the most practical medico-legal discovery for years. Had we these data sooner, hundreds of men would have paid the penalty for their crimes. Cases oft hinge upon how a man died. Now, we can know which wounds he suffered alive, which occurred post-mortem, and what instrument was responsible. And ergo, one will soon be able to calculate with utmost precision when and where death occurred, sparing the innocent and damning the guilty.
Well, then you are to be congratulated.
Indeed. But, you came here on business.
Correct again.
Ah!
I am looking for someone with whom to take diggings, and heard
뭐야,
you were
벌써?
complaining that you could get no one to go halves with you.
I have my eye on a suite in Baker Street, which would suit us down to the ground. You don't mind the smell of strong
여기서
tobacco, I hope?
만났어?
I smoke ships myself.
That's good enough. I get in the dumps at times, and don't open my mouth for days on end. Just let me alone, and I'll soon be right. What have you to confess now? It's best for two fellows to know what bruises each other carries before they begin to live together. My last companion and I...
Well, I object to rows because my nerves are shaken, and I get up at all sorts of ungodly hours, and I am extremely lazy. I have another set of vices when I'm well, but those are the principal ones at present.
Do you include violin playing in your category for rout?
It depends on the player. A well-played violin is a treat for the gods. A badly played one...
Oh, no, that's all right. I think we may consider the thing as settled. Oh, forgive my manners. My attention wavers. Sherlock Holmes.
Dr. John Watson.
John.
이렇게 평생 친구가 되었다. 셜록이 너무 젊은데 좀 둘이 비슷한 나이는 아닌가요? 완전 차이 나는데? 원래 저렇게 차이 났나? 이렇게 해서 다음에는 이제 왓슨이랑 같이 챕터 2 나오지 않을까. 근데 거기서부터가 진짜 셜록 홈즈지. 재밌었다 그래도. 뭔가 다음 작에는 제발 범인 누군지 알려줬으면 틀렸으면 틀렸다고 말해줘. 진짜 현실 친구가 생겼네 진짜. 스킵 가능. 나이스. 자, 여기까지 합시다.